Hello everyone, let's learn today anatomy of bony orbit. Now bony orbits are pyramidal shaped sockets situated on either side of the midline, and they are four-walled pyramids with roof, with a floor, a medial wall, a lateral wall, a base which is situated in front at the orbital margin, and an apex which is situated deep inside. The first is the roof. The roof is formed by orbital plate of the frontal bone. Now this is frontal bone and this is its orbital plate. So the major portion of the roof is contributed by it. Let me show you the frontal bone separately. This is the frontal bone and this is the orbital plate of the frontal bone that contributes major portion of the roof. Okay. Posteriorly the roof is completed by lesser wing of the sphenoid. Here you can see the posterior portion of the roof is contributed by lesser wing of the sphenoid. Let me show you sphenoid separately. That will give you an exact idea. This is sphenoid, which is butterfly shaped bone, and that has got in center a body. The two lesser wings you can see over here above and two greater wings below. So we are talking about this lesser wing of the sphenoid, and it is forming posterior part of the roof of the orbit. Okay, let me articulate both the bones together. This is how it is articulated, like this. Okay, so this is how entirely the roof is formed, like this. Okay, within the lesser wing of the sphenoid. Okay, this is lesser wing of the sphenoid. Within the lesser wing of the sphenoid, you see an optic canal. Okay, this is a bony canal which is situated in the roof within the lesser wing of the sphenoid, and it is actually formed by splitting of the lesser wing of the sphenoid. And when the lesser wing fuses with the body, the canal is situated at the junction of the roof with the medial wall. Okay, now this optic canal communicates orbit in front to the middle cranial fossa behind. What else in the roof? Anteromedially in the roof, here there is a depression, and that is called as trochlear fossa, that provides attachment to the trochlea, and which is a fibrous pulley, and that allows passage of tendon of superior oblique. Similarly, anterolaterally there is another depression called as lacrimal fossa, which lodges lacrimal gland. Above the roof, here you can see there lies anterior cranial fossa. Okay, next is the lateral wall. It is contributed by two bones, zygomatic bone in front and the sphenoid behind. Okay, now this is zygomatic bone. You can see the outline by the sutures. This is the frontal process of zygomatic bone. It articulates with the corresponding zygomatic process of the frontal bone. You can see the suture line, right? That forms part of the orbital margin, and this frontal process has got orbital surface. You can see over here that forms anterior part of the lateral wall. Okay, let me show you separately in the zygomatic bone. This is the zygomatic bone of right side. This is frontal process, and this is the orbital surface we are talking about. Okay, now in this zygomatic bone, you can see over here there is a foramen. This allows passage of zygomatic nerve, which will further divide into zygomaticofacial in front and zygomaticotemporal laterally, right? And these branches will emerge out from the corresponding foramina. Now this zygomatic bone forms part of the orbital margin. Okay, and within the orbital margin in the zygomatic bone, here there lies a tubercle called as Whitnall's tubercle or zygomatic tubercle. Posteriorly, the lateral wall is formed by the sphenoid, particularly the greater wing of the sphenoid. Now this is sphenoid, and above is the lesser wing. This is the greater wing, and this is the orbital surface of the greater wing of the sphenoid. Okay, that forms posterior part of the lateral wall. Let me articulate both the bones together. That will give you a clear idea. See, this is the zygomatic, and that will articulate with the greater wing of the sphenoid like this. Okay, and together will form the entire lateral wall like this. Okay, now in the lateral wall, at the junction of lateral wall with the roof, you can see an aperture which is retort shaped gap between the roof and the lateral wall. This is called a superior orbital fissure. Okay, And now we know the posterior part of the roof is formed by lesser wing of the sphenoid, posterior part of the lateral wall is formed by greater wing of the sphenoid. So this gap is actually the gap between the lesser wing and the greater wing of the sphenoid. Let me show you in the sphenoid. See, this is lesser wing, this one is greater wing, and we are talking about this gap. This is superior orbital fissure, which is retort shaped, and so many structures pass through it. And this is a gap which communicates orbit in front to the middle cranial fossa behind. Okay, now medial to this, or at the medial end of this superior orbital fissure, the apex of the bony orbit is situated, right? Lateral to the lateral wall. Now we know the lateral wall. Lateral to the lateral wall is the temporal fossa. Okay. Next wall is the floor. The floor is contributed by three bones. Majority of the floor is formed by the maxilla. You can see the maxilla. This is maxilla, and this is orbital surface of the maxilla. Okay. Anterolaterally, the floor is formed by portion of the lateral wall of the zygomatic bone, which is continuous. Okay. And most posteriorly, very small portion of the floor is formed by orbital process of palatine bone. Let me show you separately. See this. This is maxilla. So major portion of the floor is formed by this maxilla, anterolaterally by the zygomatic, and most posteriorly, very small portion is formed by this process. You can see it is moving. It is the orbital process of palatine bone. This is the palatine bone which is attached to the maxilla. You can see the suture line. Okay, this is horizontal plate of the palatine bone. This is perpendicular plate, orbital process. Okay, and that portion, very small portion of the palatine bone, contributes to form floor of the orbit. Okay, now in the floor, in the maxilla, you can see a groove. It is called as infraorbital groove, and this groove continues within the maxilla. Okay, you can see, to form infraorbital canal. Okay, that runs in the roof of the maxillary air sinus, and itself it is continuous as infraorbital foramen. Right, now below the roof, okay, there lies maxillary air sinus. You can see this. This is maxillary air sinus from the medial aspect. Right, anteromedial to the floor, there lies a depression that provides attachment to inferior oblique muscle. There is another gap between the floor and the lateral wall. You can see this. This is called as inferior orbital fissure, and this fissure communicates the orbit and the infratemporal fossa. See the probe. This is the territory of infratemporal fossa. Okay, and posteriorly, this inferior orbital fissure communicates orbit to the pterygopalatine fossa. Right. Next is the medial wall. This is medial wall. It is contributed from before backward by four bones. The anteriormost is the maxilla. This is frontal process of the maxilla. Right. The second is the lacrimal bone. Third is the ethmoid. Fourth is the sphenoid. So the first bone which contributes the medial wall, this is frontal process of maxilla, and partly it forms the orbital margin, right, that you can see. Partly this portion of the maxilla contributes the medial wall of the orbit. Still behind you can see very small bony chip or papery thin small bone. This is lacrimal bone, which is very fragile, right, that forms the medial wall. Still behind you can see the suture line. This is orbital plate of the ethmoid. Again it is very thin, papery thin, fragile. And most posteriorly, small portion of the body of the sphenoid contributes to form the medial wall. Let me show you separate bones. This is the frontal process of maxilla that forms partly the orbital margin, and this portion forms the medial wall. Okay, posterior to it there lies small lacrimal bone. Still posteriorly lies ethmoid and sphenoid. Let me show you separately. Now this is ethmoid. Okay, in the center part above there is a bony spicule. This is called as crista galli, and all around there are so many foramina in a bony plate. This is called as cribriform plate of the ethmoid. On either side of it you can see smooth bony plates. These are the orbital plate of the ethmoid. These are contributing the medial wall of the orbit. In front they are related to the lacrimal bone. Behind there lies body of sphenoid. Okay, deep to this lies the ethmoidal air sinuses. Let me show you the body of sphenoid. See this. This is body of sphenoid. This is from in front. And if we articulate ethmoid with the sphenoid, see this, right? A small portion of body of sphenoid here contributes to form the medial wall, right? Deep to the body of sphenoid, within the body of sphenoid there lies sphenoidal air sinuses. So deep to the medial wall in front there lies nasal cavity, then ethmoidal air sinuses and sphenoidal air sinuses. In the medial wall in front you can see a groove. This is called as lacrimal groove. Anteriorly it is contributed by frontal process of maxilla. Posteriorly it is contributed by the lacrimal bone itself, and that is bounded in front and behind by the lacrimal crest that lodges lacrimal sac, and this groove leads to a canal which is called as the nasolacrimal canal. You can see the probe is going deep inside. Okay, this nasolacrimal canal contains lodges nasolacrimal duct, and this itself opens into the inferior meatus of the nose. You can see the probe is emerging out in the inferior meatus. Okay, now this bone is called as inferior nasal concha. This is lateral wall of the nose. Deep to it lies inferior meatus, and here is the opening of nasolacrimal duct, right? Behind it you can see between the orbital plate of ethmoid and orbital plate of frontal bone there are two foramina, anterior and posterior ethmoidal foramina, right? The base is formed at the orbital margin. The apex is formed at the medial end of the superior orbital fissure. Medial walls are oriented in such a way that they run parallel to each other like this, separating nasal cavity, ethmoidal air sinuses and sphenoidal air sinuses from before backward, and they run parallel to each other. But the lateral walls, they are directed forward and laterally like this. Okay, and they are oriented in such a way that if you trace them behind, if you imagine the lateral walls behind, they meet with each other at an acute angle, forming 90-degree angle with each other, right? So this is how the bony orbit is formed. Direction of orbital axis is not forward, but it is directed forward and laterally. Okay, hope you understood well. Thanks for watching.